The third program that we're going to talk about to discover connected clients and gather information about them is nmap. Nmap is a short for network mapper. It's a network discovery tool that can be used to gather information about just about any device. You can gather information about any client that is within your network. You can discover clients that's within your network. You can gather information about clients that are outside your network. You can gather information about clients just by knowing their IP. You can put the IP and then you can gather information. Now, nmap is a huge tool. It has many uses. It can be used to bypass firewalls, all kinds of protection and security. So there is like books and courses that are specific for nmap only. In this course, we're only going to have a quick look on nmap to show you that it's very useful, and to show you some of the basic nmap commands to discover clients that are within our Wi-Fi, that are connected to our network, and discover the open ports in these clients. We're going to use nmap, which is the graphical user interface for nmap, and let's see how we do that. So we're just going to type nmap. So in the target, you're going to put your IP address. If there is only one IP address that you want to gather information about, you can just put that address, or you can put a range like we did with NetDiscover. So it's 192.168.1.1/24. And from here you can have profiles. You can put a custom command here if you want. If you know a custom command and you want to use it, you can put it here, or you can use one of the ready profiles here. So we're going to have a look on those ready profiles. We're going to have a look on the ping scan first. This is a kind of quick scan, but it doesn't show too many information. It only shows the connected devices. As you can see, we have the connected devices here, and we have their IP addresses and their MAC address, and we also have the vendor. So in NetDiscover, we weren't able to see the manufacturer for the device, neither with AutoScan, but you can see here with nmap we were able to know that the 192.168.1.10 is a Cisco device. Sorry, the 192.168.1.1, that's the router. It's a Cisco device, so it's a Cisco router. Now we can go ahead and look for exploits in this device. We also know that the 198.1.10 is a HTC device, so that's probably a phone. And since it's HTC, then it's probably running on Android. So now we're having more information. We can see that this device, the 12 device, is an Apple device. So again, it's either a phone, a tablet, or a Mac. And then we can see that this device is a Dell, number 22. And here, this device, I don't know who's this manufacturer. And we have another Dell device on this IP address. So again, its ping scan was very quick. We were able to know the manufacturer, the IP address, and the MAC address of the connected clients. The next scan we're going to have a look on is the quick scan. Now this is going to be slightly slower than the ping scan, but we will get more information than the ping scan. We're going to be able to identify the open ports in each device. And here we go. You can navigate in between the devices from here, from this panel. So we can see the main, the router has these open ports. So it has number 80 open and these ports are closed. We can see again the, remember in AutoScan we saw that one of the devices had 22 port open. Now we know that that's the Apple device. So we still don't know what's this device, whether it's an Apple computer or a tablet or a phone, but we know it's an Apple device with 22 port open, which is the SSH port. We can go on all the devices, and as you can see, we can see the open ports on them. That's the Dell device. It has 2 ports open. It has a web server running on 80, and it has some service running on this port. Now let's have a look on the Quick Scan Plus, which will take the Quick Scan one step further. It's going to be a bit slower again from the Quick Scan, but it will show us the programs that are running on the opened ports. So in the Quick Scan, we saw, for example, port 80 is open, but we didn't know what's running on port 80. Or we saw port 22 running, but we didn't know what's running. We know it's SSH, but we don't know what SSH server is running on that port. So again, you can see this is taking longer than the Quick Scan. Right, so that did take some time. It was slower than all the previous scans that we talked about, but we can see that it gathered much more information. We can see that we have 2 Linux devices connected here. So it got us the operating system of the devices connected. It also got us the version for the programs. So for example, we have the 192.168.112, the Apple device. We didn't know what Apple device it was. We were saying it could be a computer, it could be a laptop, it could be a phone. Now we know on 22 open on the 22 port. Last time we only knew it's open. Now we know it's running. The server that's running there is open SSH 6.1. So we can go again and look for remote exploits, and we can hack that device right away. And when we go here on the device type, you can see it's a media device, it's a phone. So it is actually an iPad, it's not a phone, but iPhones and iPads, they're classified, they use nearly the same iOS version. So that's accurate enough. As you can see here, it's Apple iOS, so we know it's not a Mac, it's not a laptop, it's either an iPhone or an iPad, and it's running iOS 4, 5, or 6. Okay, now if we go on the other devices, so we have, this is our Linux device, and we saw in the Quick Scan we were able to identify 80 and this port open. We didn't know, we knew HTTP running on this obviously, but we didn't know what version of server that's running on this. Now we know it's Apache HTTP server 2.2.22, and it's a Ubuntu device, and that is correct. It's an OS Luna, which is a version of Ubuntu. So this is again very accurate. We can go ahead and look for exploits and vulnerabilities for this. And this port, we didn't even know what service it runs on. Now we know it's a UPnP server, and it's MediaTomp, the type of server or the program. It's MediaTomp UPnP server. And again, this is very accurate. This is actually the version of the program. So and it's telling us it's a Dell computer, and that is correct again. So we're getting very, very specific, accurate information about our targets. We can see here the Microsoft device, again the Windows device. It's running Microsoft HTTPPA, which is another UPnP server on this port. You can also browse by the services, so you can go on HTTP and it will show you the devices that have HTTP open, or you can go on SSH and you see the devices that have SSH open. So let me just show you an example. So if we go back to the hosts and we go to this device, to the output, let me show you here. So we know it's an Apple device. We know it's an Apple device. We know it's a phone or an iPad, and we know it has 22 open. So that's the SSH open, and that means the device has been jailbroken. Because without jailbreak, you can't install you can't install SSH server on the device. Now, when you jailbreak, in the jailbreak process, it installs a root user on the device, and the password for that root user is Alpine. Now, it's ALPINE. Most people don't even know that happens, and even the people that know, like myself, are too lazy to change it. So in many cases, if you find an iPhone or an iPad device with 22 open, you can pretty much just try to log into it straight away with SSH. So we'll do that here. We're gonna go SSH 192.168.1.12, and we're gonna go to root at this. Yes, it's gonna ask me the password. I'm gonna type in Alpine, ALPINE, and as you can see, I logged in as root. So this is just an example of how useful gathering information is. Even if this didn't work, you can go, as I said, you can go ahead and look for exploits for these programs, and you will manage to gain access to this network. So gathering information is a huge step in penetration testing. nmap is a huge tool. You can carry out so many types of scans. You can experiment with these profiles here, and I highly recommend that you read more about nmap and increase your knowledge about it, because you will need to use it in many cases, not only in Wi-Fi networks or in Wi-Fi penetration testing.